welcome back to Hope Mouse. So today I'm going to be filming the TMI book tag, or the TMI tag Booktube Edition. Well, I found this tag on Jessie the Reader's channel, but the original creator is Jinx Books, and I will link her and Jessie's video down below. Okay, so the first question is, which book character has the best style? So I think Izzy from the Mortal Instruments series, or Clary, but I would never dress the way Izzy and Clary do. But then I also think that now I'm gonna have forgotten her name. Let me check her name. Zoe from the Trouble Is a Friend of Mine series. I think she has a pretty cute style. Your book fictional crush would definitely be Clark from The Unexpected Everything by Morgan Matson. He was awesome. That was a great character. Have you ever loved a character and then hated them? I think so. I think it was a guy character from the Throne of Glass series, but I'm not going to say who because I might have forgotten his name. No, I think I remember his name. Yeah, I remember his name. It's one of the guys from Throne of Glass, but I'm not going to say who. And also, I haven't finished the series, so I don't know if I'm still going to hate him at the end of the series or not. Biggest or the longest book on your bookshelf? Probably one of my Leslie Pierce books, or this book over here, Chloe, The 9 Lives of Chloe King, because it's got the whole series in it. I think it's got 3-4 books in here. The heaviest book on your bookshelf, definitely not the same book as the biggest one, because that one's actually pretty soft, but probably one of the hardcovers. I think one of these are pretty heavy. I've got the hardcover books for Six of Crows and Cooker Kingdom. That was a tongue twister. Do you have any book posters? And I don't have currently any hanging up, but I think I used to have. I had quite a few in my bedroom in America when I was an au pair, but since I packed everything away, I have no idea where any of it is anymore. Do you have any book themed jewelry? And yes, I do. I have quite a bit. I've got a golden snitch on a necklace. I have the Clockwork Angel on a necklace. I have earrings. I've got 9 3/4 earrings, I think, but I think one of them broke. And then I have the Time Turner as well. Oh, and then I have the Deathly Hallows on a bracelet. Book OTP, One True Pairing. I definitely love Simon and Izzy together, and then I also love Zoe and Digby from Trouble Is a Friend of Mine series. Your favorite book series? I love Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. I still need to read the new book, Map of Days, that came out, but that is definitely one of my favorites that I have completed. Favorite book to movie soundtrack? I don't listen to the book to movie soundtracks. I've never actually done any research for it. Maybe I should. If anyone has any book to movie soundtrack suggestions, let me know in the comments, because then I will go look them up. A book story you miss or wish would continue? So there are quite a few books or series that would be nice for a continuation, or standalones with extra onto them, but I've always thought an idea would be awesome is if there was a Harry Potter series that was continued, but from Harry's youngest daughter Lily. I don't know why, but I think because Harry Potter is from Harry Potter's point of view, and then the screenplay that oh, I can't even remember what it's called because I haven't read it in a while. Where is it? Oh, there it is. So, and then Harry Potter, the screenplay in Harry Potter and the Cursed Child or something was from his son. So all the point of views have been from male point of views. So it would be nice to have a trilogy or a 4-book series, maybe even a duology, where there's someone in Harry Potter that's a female point of view. I think that would be pretty cool. Since when do you read books? So I never loved reading books as a child. I started reading books when my mom got sick. My mom got diagnosed with cancer in 2005, so she was in and out of hospital a lot. So from then, sitting in waiting rooms while she was in ICU and my brother and I couldn't go into the ICU room, I would sit and read or write stories. That's where I picked up my love for reading as an escape mechanism. Which Hogwarts house are you? And I am Hufflepuff. Quality you look for in a book. I love a book that sucks me in immediately. If I start reading a book and I read a few pages or I read a chapter and then I have to put it down and carry on with life, I need to be thinking about that book all the time to be like, I need to sit down and read it. Where if I've started reading a book and I've carried on with life and I haven't thought about the book, like, what's happening in this book, I need to know what's happening, then I'm probably going to take a really long time to read it or end up DNFing it, struggles. But yeah, so the book needs to suck me in from get-go. I hate slow books. I need them to really just draw my attention from page one. Favorite book quote, and I love the quote by Albus Dumbledore, which is, now I have to try to remember it. Whenever I'm trying to think of this quote, I always forget it. You can always find light in the darkest of times as long as you remember to turn on the light. I think it's something like that, and I love that quote. Your favorite author? My favorite author is definitely Morgan Matson. I absolutely love her books. I met her at BookCon last year and that was amazing. She is definitely an auto-buy author. And then I also enjoy Leslie Pierce. I haven't read any of her books in a while though. Her books are very big and are intimidating, but I love action or romance. That depends on what mood I'm in. Currently, I'm in the worst reading slump, and I've been in this reading slump since I got back to South Africa. And life has just been really crazy, but currently I'm in a reading slump. So romance is always easier to read when I'm in a reading slump, but then also fantasy and I aren't doing so great. But I love a good fantasy read, but that's when I'm not in a reading slump. Where do you go when a sad moment happens? I don't really understand this question. Is it where do I go in my mind? Where do I go in public? If I'm reading the book in public. So it takes a lot for a book to make me cry, but normally I am reading at home. I don't really read much in public. So even if I am at home, I can cry. Yay! How long do you need to finish a book? Well, again, it depends on how interested I am in the book. If I'm loving this book, it can take me a day, it can take me a week, but it just depends on how big the book is, my reading mood, how interested. There's been a time where I literally started reading a book at like 8 o'clock at night and I finished it at 2 o'clock in the morning because it was just such a good, interesting read. So it just depends on how interested I am in the specific book. How long is your mourning period? Again, it depends how good the book was. Normally, if I've read a really good series, then I struggle to get into a new book because I've been so invested and involved in this series, whether it be 2 books or 3 books or 6 books or 7. It just, being involved in a series, your mind like lives in that world. So then it takes me a while. Normally, once I've read a series, I'll read a contemporary or a romance or something in real life so I can come back to reality, and then I'll try tackling a series again. But I can never go from series to series or fantasy to fantasy. I have to like mix it up a bit. Your least favorite book? So I always have the same least favorite book, and that is the Maze Runner series, or the last book of the Maze Runner series. Can't even remember what it's called. And the reason for this is because that's the only book I've really finished that I didn't like. Any other book lately that if I'm not liking it, I'll DNF it or put it down and get back to it. A turn on and a turn off in a book character. It all depends on the character because not all characters have the same traits that I might like or dislike. But there are sometimes characters that do irritate me. Like for Triss, for example, from the Divergent series. She's a nice character, but then she also does things where she doesn't consider the reactions of what she's doing. So there are just certain little things about certain characters that might irritate me or I might like about them or that sort of thing. The reason I joined Booktube or YouTube, so I've loved books since I was around 11, 12 years old, but I only discovered Booktube almost, couple years ago now. I discovered Booktube in 2015 and I loved it, and I'd always liked the idea of starting a YouTube channel or a Booktube channel, but I never had the guts to go out and do it. But then I went to au pair in America and I was like, why? That's probably the best time to start a channel because I'm in a new country, there's so much to experience, and I can talk about my experience as a booktuber in America. And then when I came back, the idea was talking about doing a booktuber in South Africa. Name a scary book. I could probably name a few, but I have never read any, so I don't know any scary books. The last book that made you cry. I don't remember. I think there was a book, I'd have to go look on Goodreads quickly, that I think there was a book this year that I read that may have possibly made me cry. Let me just find my Goodreads reading challenge because I'm like 13 books behind schedule. Thanks Goodreads for reminding me all the time. Yeah, nothing this year that I've read has made me cry. What did I read last year? Let's see if anything from last year made me cry. This Heart of Mine. Oh my word, that book absolutely made me cry. I definitely know that that book was a wow. This Heart of Mine by C.C. Hunter. Wow, that book. The last book you gave 5 stars, that was the last book I read, which was Ink, and I really loved it, and I've ordered the other 2 books in the series and I'm waiting very patiently for them to arrive. Clearly from the tone of my voice it doesn't sound very patient, but ordering books online in South Africa, not the quickest thing on the planet. Any favorite book titles? So The Unexpected Everything by Morgan Matson, I love that book and its title. I mean, it's a funny title. And any title I can pronounce is considered a favorite, because sometimes there are words and names in these titles, or the authors for that matter, that I cannot pronounce, and that's just like, how do I say this? Your last read. So the last read is Ink. Book you're currently reading. I'm currently reading A Walk to Remember by Nicholas Sparks, and the last book adaptation, I cannot say that word. Last book to film movie you watched. Oh gooshness, I watched Harry Potter recently. I don't know if that counts, because Harry Potter is a reread or a rewatch or both, because I reread the first book while I was in Joburg, or while we were driving back from Joburg in the car, yay. And then I think we also rewatched one of the movies. It was on Showmax and we rewatched one of those. Nothing new. I want to watch oh, I watched The Hate You Give. That one was pretty good. I really enjoyed that one. A book character you've always wanted to talk to. One of them was The Names They Gave Us. I don't have my copy, my friend has it. So she has it. The Names They Gave Us is about a girl whose mom is diagnosed with cancer, and this girl goes to a camp, but normally she goes to Bible camp or church camp with her parents. Yeah, she goes to a different camp and she's nervous about spending this time away from her mom. Okay, so mute or anything from here is spoilers, and I will unmute when the spoilers are gone. But this book ends in an emergency. I don't know how else to explain it, but something happens to this girl's mom that everyone gets rushed to hospital. Well, she gets rushed and everyone follows her, and it just ends. And I want to be able to talk to this character and find out what happened to her mom. It's a very weird way to end a story or end a book, not telling us what actually happened to her mom. So I would love to be able to speak to her, and I need to find out what her name is. And also, you've always wanted to talk to, probably Morgan Matson, but I've spoken to her as well. It was a very brief conversation as I met her at BookCon. So she was doing a photo op with 2 other authors, Jenny Han and Siobhan Vivian. So I met the 3 of them and I spoke a little bit to Morgan Matson. But I'd love to be able to speak to her about her writing and where she writes and how she writes. It does help a little bit that she's very active on Instagram and always doing Instagram stories about her writing. So that's pretty cool. Favorite book snack? So snacking when reading can be very dangerous because you can get messy fingers and then touch the book. But I do it. I like eating something that I can use with one hand, or I can prop my book up, but I normally just eat anything when I'm hungry, if I'm eating. I love to have a good cup of tea or coffee though. That is like, yes, please. What book do you want to live in? Definitely Harry Potter. I'd love to be able to spend a year at Hogwarts, maybe even 7 years at Hogwarts. That would be great. I mean, everyone's answer is probably Harry Potter, because Harry Potter is such a well-known and most wanted to live in world. What book do you not want to live in? That one I haven't really thought about. I'd have to consider it. Look at my books. Probably The Book Thief, because that's a pretty sad and scary time, I reckon. The last time you smelled a book. Well, I'm not 100% sure about that one. Weird insults used in books. I don't know. Insults. Favorite romance book. I like, what's her name? Abby Glines. Abby Glines. She writes really good romance books. And then there's another book. This one. This is Leah Riley. And I've only read the first book of this series. It's a trilogy, actually. It's an entire romance trilogy. I haven't finished it. I should reread and finish it. Do you write? Yes, I do. I have several books. Well, not several. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 books that I'm working on. Favorite magical item? Well, a wand is a magical item and you can do a lot with a wand. But other than the wand, I love the invisibility cloak. That is pretty cool. I mean, imagine hiding under your invisibility cloak at school or wherever, or work, or where, and you're just chilling reading a book and no one can find you. Your Quidditch position. So I'm probably seeker. I don't know. I think I've answered this before and I can't remember the answer. I'd have to go find I'd have to go find my answer to this question. How dare I forget my answer to this question? Name a song you can connect to a book. I don't know. I'm so bad at this. Bad YouTuber. Favorite book related chat up line. I have no idea what that means. Okay, so your favorite fandom. So I'm not sure if they're referring to fan fiction, but I've never really read any fan fiction, so I don't have a favorite. How many books do you own? A lot. I've never counted them. Let's go. So on my bookshelf, there's 103 books, and then that's excluding the books my friend Pia has. I think she's got 3 or 4 copies, 3 or 4 of my books. Who do you tag? I tag whoever feels like doing this tag. Yay! Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you like this tag or this video, whichever word you prefer to use. If you like it, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the bell icon if you'd like to get notified whenever I post new videos. Thank you so much for watching. Happy reading, happy YouTube watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye!